It was other times. She had gotten pregnant, other things, and it just got to a point.
She had gotten pregnant again?
Yeah.
While y'all were together?
Yeah.
And it wasn't you?
Not with me.
Got pregnant again, and it wasn't you.
Humanity.
Boy, ain't
Trash.
no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Come on, Cal.
It wasn't me.
What's up, guys? It's K&M Live back in here again. We got I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this second clip that I'm gonna play, but I wanted to talk about this whole thing about, I guess you could say, good people being mistreated. We had a video, you can go check it out, that came out last Sunday where a guy expresses that. But specifically, I'm going to be talking about girls not liking the fact of being good girls. They feel like they're going to be mistreated and stuff like that. And about guys choosing the wrong chick, especially when they get to like a higher level in life or a different tax bracket. It just seems like they always become suckers for the wrong type of females. So let's hop right into it real quick.
The good girls just never win, okay? Being the good girl, doing...
By the way, fair use. Shout out to Kim. We did a video we did a reaction on one of her videos before. So she made a good topic, and I wanted to connect it into the other video we're gonna play. So shout out to her, by the way.
Doing everything for your man, just like actually just being that lover girl, loving the guy, showing that you're there for him. You don't really there's no reward. Like, I don't know, the good girls don't really win. They always get their heart broken, okay? They get taken for granted. If not, they stay in relationships where they're not treated well. They're often taken for granted, walked all over on. They often attract certain men, right? They attract like the more narcissistic type of man, or controlling, or I don't know. I might be generalizing. This video is more like a rant. It's not really on facts. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys have a different opinion, I'm open. So comment down below. But I've seen from experience different type of relationships, different ages, different generations, where the good woman, the good girl, she never wins. She never wins. She gets walked over on, taken for granted. She's hurt most of the time. These men are actually not satisfied, I feel. There's men that actually think they want a good girl, but I don't know. Do they respect this good girl? Do they cherish this good girl? This is my question. The woman who is mean, the woman who is actually promiscuous, the women who actually are all these things that these men say that they're so against, honestly, it actually can feel like they're winning, because for some reason, these men are attracted to these women. Men are going to look for girls online. It can be social media. They're going to be following. I've heard time and time again women complain that they're dating or married, or just, men in general that are around them say they like natural girl, good girl, just like a simple, stay at home, chill vibe girl. They don't like that. They're against like girls with OnlyFans, promiscuous looking, promiscuous girls sleep around, girls who have a plastic look, makeup, body done, all these things. But then what they say and what they're actually doing is two different things, and it's very confusing for me, guys. These same guys that say that are following a bunch of the girls that they say they're not into, that they're actually disgusted by. They are liking, they are lusting, they are sending DMs. That's like the worst case, right? Going that far as to try to contact these girls. And I'm just confused. They're consuming the content that these girls are putting out, that they're saying, wow, I like OnlyFans girls. The same guys that are against it, that talk down on girls about, these things, are the same guys paying their subscriptions or search.
Yeah, I had to stop her there, but shout out to her again. I think that's kind of like the elephant in the room, that people like what's not good for them, despite knowing that they're bad. People somehow just attracted to the allure of what they call it, that go something that goes against the status quo. And in this case, um, those so-called bad girls or whatever, they exude a lot of um, what's the word? I don't want to say sexuality, but spiciness. Like they exude a lot of that sexiness that pulls guys in lustfully. But we all know if you're going in with lust, you're headed for destruction later. You know, so it's just kind of like, yeah, you may want to sleep with that chick, but as far as having a relationship with her, that's two different things. And I feel like it could go the other direction, that women tend to like guys who are more, bad boyish or has a edge to him or whatever the case is, because that's sex appeal at the end of the day. You know, these people unfortunately exude a lot of sex appeal despite their characters being questionable. So it kind of like people overlook their bad behavior due to the fact that they're more that they have that sex appeal. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like people have to hold each other accountable when it comes to these things. But for the most part, I do admit that there's today a lot of dudes. I'll say this: if dudes stood their ground on what she was just explaining and what they believed in, I believe that the situation that society's in right now, I'm not saying we probably still could have got to this point regardless, but it would not have affected us as bad, because back in those days they had war, they had a reason to be out there, they had a reason to fight. But today we're in peace, sort of, not really, but kind of in a peaceful time. And they say, the saying goes, peaceful times create weak men and hard times create strong men. So because we have access to everything, because everything is so easy, we're coming up with new ways to get that next high. So it's kind of like it's boring to be good now, because that's the status quo, that's the normal. It's like I'm not gonna get no excitement off that. I need to get another hit. I need to do something that's a little bit more drastic to get the situation that I want. You got anything you want to say on that?
No, you pretty much summed up everything. I'm just going to try to keep it short, and sweet. So, like my friend over here said, both of them have to be accountable of the actions that they're doing, and people are not dumb. I would like to believe they're not dumb. Especially at their grown age, especially in their late 20s, 30s, and 40s. The people that they choose to be in that life. And once you go out that way and that person shows the red flags and shows their character and their personality is not a fit, but you still go out your way just because of sexual attractiveness to them, you were meant to perish. So we could just move on from that from that end of from their stories.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Um, that's the thing that's just destroying a lot of dudes today, because they ain't had that experience, or you know the stakes are so high, or seem to be so high nowadays, that a lot of dudes just give in to that immoral type behavior. But let me get into this next clip, because this is gonna tie into what I'm talking about, because this clip opened my eyes. Fair use to Shay Shay, because this is on his pod.
Revealed, and it was a lot, it was other times. She had gotten pregnant, other things, and it just got to a point.
She had gotten pregnant again?
Yeah.
While y'all were together?
Yeah.
And it wasn't you?
Not with me.
Got pregnant again, and it wasn't you.
Humanity.
Boy, ain't
Trash.
no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Come on, Cal.
It wasn't me. It wasn't
And
me.
you stuck around?
Yeah, I stuck around. But here's
That's
the thing.
bad.
Here's the thing.
Bad.
These were things that were being revealed.
She
throughout the
telling you
process.
this?
No.
How did you find this out?
You
I want to know how you found this out. You read a letter, you got to it through the phones?
Yeah, okay. All right. So how that one went, there was a thing where we weren't having sex anymore, and we weren't doing anything anymore. Just
No,
because,
you weren't having
sexless
sex.
marriage.
Clearly she was.
yeah, it's just because of I knew what was going on.
Right.
And I was like, yo, what is even happening? You're not coming home. You're not doing all these different things.
And y'all
What is
mad she not
happening?
coming home. Y'all mad.
Yeah. But then this was, back then.
Yeah.
We praying for her now. It's all good.
Yeah.
But this is what the process of what I was going through.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so now as this is going on, there was a time, get some more soda.
Now I need something stronger than soda can. You telling me that right
Go
here.
ahead, brother.
I mean, you had one, you
Yeah.
aborted that, but that wasn't yours. She
Yeah.
told you, you didn't know
Yeah.
you had one of your own, and she.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Give me one too, bro. Give me a drink.
Or me a shot, Shannon.
Yo, the pain, bro.
There was a situation where there was a guy, and I had a feeling, you know what I mean, that she was
Did you know him?
talking to somebody. It was one of her friends that used
Okay.
to come over, right? And I was working a
You
lot.
see, bro, likeness, proximity, and location, bro. Like it's always somebody you knew when the cheating occurred. It's always somebody you met through her, and don't worry about him. He's just a friend, That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
bro.
So it's
Dirty
one of
part
those,
too.
one of those.
I've been noticing some chicks that you deal with, when they in a new relationship, they want to talk to you and trying to introduce you to their man. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, why are you trying to put that kind of energy out there?
They
I'm
are
saying,
crazy.
and I don't know. They just dumb, or they know this, but they just want to try to stir something up.
Stir that part. Stir up the drama.
Those situations, and so I was dropping off the kids, and didn't go to work, and you know how I go. And so one day I decided where I was like, I'm gonna take the car and just kind of like go searching where she might be, because she ain't come
Searching.
home.
Oh.
And so I got in the whip, went driving around, saw her whip, looked different, and I saw it, and I said at the hotel, I was like, yo, okay, this is a car at the hotel. I go to the lobby. You know what I mean? To go walk into the lobby. Turns out dude just come walking down the lobby about to go to the car, my car, and then she was driving, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? Take me upstairs. Let's go to the elevator, let's go together. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? We go up, we don't need to fight, let's
He's
go.
just going
Because I already
along
know what
with
it
it.
is.
Right.
So we go up, of course she's surprised, oh, within the room. And, we walk in, I walk in there and I'm just like, hey, okay, so this is what's going on. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? All right, and this is what you're doing? Okay, so, and I walk.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh, so you're moving like this? All right. The puzzle's right here? Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. Like,
Walk out, because I'm like,
It's
I'm not about to
crazy,
fight
bro.
over
No,
someone that.
she already made a
Yeah,
decision.
you
Ain't
made
nothing
your
like,
decision.
yeah.
You already we done been through it.
Did she like come out and
You know?
let me explain?
Yeah.
What did that explain? Offer without
It was
explanation.
unexplained. I'll go to the car. After I went to the car, then there was this. I was like, yo, I need to go back. And I went back because now I was like, well, I felt disrespected, so now I need to go do something. And so I'm going back, so then
went
now I'm
back.
going back up there.
he went back up there to reclaim his honor. Like, no, I have to
What you
go
about to
reclaim
do?
my
What
honor.
you about to do to her? Chastise her?
Cops came, everybody came up at that point. And I remember this cop told me, he said, hey, yo, I seen this type of woman, this situation. You need to get out of this situation. You know what I mean? You need to get out of this situation. Like a goofy, still stayed around. You know what I mean? We said we was trying to make it work for the kids. You know what I mean? Trying to make it work for the kids. But it just wasn't working out. You know what I mean? Trying to make it work. And she ended up getting pregnant by another guy. Now, how that
Another
situation.
guy.
Oh, the humanity.
Yo, she really has poor coochie management. She just let all the dudes smash and have they seed inside her.
Happened was that I was at the hospital.
Crazy.
She had a sickle cell trait, so she ended up. I'm thinking it's that. We go in there and the doctor comes in and says, "Yeah, so you lost the baby."
Damn.
And I was just like, "Hey, yo, what? You lost the baby?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know that's not mine." And so I lost the baby, and I'm like, "Okay, so she was pregnant at that time." And this was just like,
Yeah, that's karma right there on her part. I ain't gonna lie, that's karma.
what
She
was going
probably
on?
happy.
You know
What are
what
you
I mean?
talking about?
Yeah, within-
yeah.
within a-
Kids.
Well, just saying, maybe she wanted to You don't know, a lot of these they still sometimes want to give birth to the baby, man. They do.
Relationship.
That was rough,
But then
bro.
it's also doing movies, doing TV shows, doing all these things as this is going on, not really telling anybody anything.
Right.
I wasn't telling my parents, telling my family what was going on.
Right.
You know, so now all these situations are happening. And I get to the point where I'm at, 2004 up there. And the thing about it is that I would drink, to get out of some, emotional, all of this mind, because it was just kind of like, making people laugh and doing all these things. But then also this is going on too as well. You know what I mean? And so I got to the point where I'm about to do this. And the reason I did that was because I went to Canada to do this movie. And we had the relationship was just toxic at that point. So now I'm here and I get a phone call. And she's this guy, that she wants to be with. And I was just like, okay, yeah, y'all need to be together. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this. But then I'm also dealing with the embarrassment of all of this situation. What's going on? I don't want people to know what I'm going through, all this situation. And I just felt like at that point it needs to be a reset button. Just because I looked at my parents and how beautiful their relationship was and how this relationship was not being that at all, and how what I thought marriage would be wasn't that at all. And then even just the navigation of this industry as well and what was going on. And I just wanted to hit an off button at that point, and I felt like that was the answer.
Right.
I tell people, I heard something tell me, hey, yo, Kel, get into a room, lock the door, and get off this balcony. I know that was God now. But at that time, I said it was a person, but I know it was God that told me to do that. And I did that and went and did work. And then from that, changing my life around, where it's to the point where now it's like really living life for me and understanding that,
Kel, even though I'm listening to you talk, and
Yeah.
it's a
I hope you just don't fall to old ways, man. Don't like using that word, but it's the first time it's gonna get used.
very traumatic experience, and I'm sorry that you had to experience that.
Saw that,
But
yeah.
it seems to me, no matter how chaotic it was in your personal life, it was the acting that kept you going.
Well, I would say this, because even with the process of me and Keenan, he kind of just, and I don't think he knows that we did have a conversation about this, but he didn't know any of this either. He didn't know all these things were going on in my life until recently when I was able to talk to him about it. And the thing about it is that on that side of work, when it was a thing of, my talent being stolen by, this writer, this yelling by this writer, all these different things, the process of that and work and all how that was, and navigating that, he was also managed by the same company that the writer was in. And so within that, it was just like, oh, y'all all together. So I couldn't trust anybody. And where I was from, with having people, die within my life that were in Chicago. I'm going through turmoil in a toxic relationship. And then I'm also having problems within the workplace as well. That was a gumbo of just like, yo, you know what I mean, of what was going on. And that's when I talk about, like, with Robin Williams, when I was saying, like, smiling through everything and making other people laugh.
Yes.
You never know what somebody
Somebody's
else
going
might be going through at that time. And
That's real talk, man. R.I.P. to Robin Williams, man. Yeah, this situation was crazy. Ultimately, I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know what made him deal with her as long as he did. Because I think once you put the marriage stamp on it, you're gonna try to work it out. Not every guy's gonna be just, oh, I'm done with this broad and I'm just gonna kick her to the side of the road. He probably was in a position where it was like he couldn't just go around divorcing chicks left and right because he's in the spotlight, so he has a reputation to uphold. So he felt like, I'm gonna try to make this work, and unfortunately, this is what being a nice guy gets you. So the reason why I play, Kim's previous video is to show that the coin is the same on either side. When you don't have any boundaries of whatsoever, you're bound to have other people come in there and step all over them. But for a man in this case, I just believe that society will always support women a lot more. Well, our society specifically will support women a lot more than they do the men, because the men could go through the same thing and they'll just be like, oh, toughen up, be a man, and toss them out to the wind. But in this case, like with a chick, um, it seems like even though they can be hurt, they can whatever, there's always gonna be somebody there to pick up their pieces, you know? Of
Somebody's gonna pick it up.
Is this if for a guy though? It's kind of like look at like he literally had to focus on work because that was the one thing that kept him going. It was the one thing that kept him distracted from the pain, which is a positive thing because obviously it made him successful, right? It made him further be successful and get away from these people. But he's just telling the story, which you know I respect. And a story that I wanted to add, a personal story I wanted to add on that. I had an ex a while back who said the same thing that Kim said in the first video. She was like, "Why does it seem like the hose is always winning? Why does it seem like that?" And I'm just like, "What do you define as winning though? Like material, attention, like when they say the 304s are winning, what are we defining as winning? That's really the real question here. What is the victory that they're getting? Are they getting the right guys? Because at the end of the day, once your reputation is kind of destroyed, it's kind of hard to get it back. So they may be winning temporarily, but in the long run, they end up losing out.
Yeah, that thing is kind of short lived anyway. You know, that's not gonna really gonna last a long time. The popularity and the attention and all the stuff they get it from men. That's not really gonna last long. And especially those guys who's in that area or that lifestyle they're in, everybody knows each other, so they're gonna know what type of girl that lady is anyway. To be like, oh, she's one of the freaky chicks. She's one of this. She's one of that. She works here. She does this for this guy, or she works under this girl. There's a lot of things that goes into that. So you putting yourself or getting involved in it, you know, you taking a high risk to go to, you know, put yourself in those type of situations. But just to get in with him in this clip over here, you know, it's very sad that, you know, he had to go through that. But, you know, people believed in marriage because he specifically said that, you know, his mom and dad, their marriage was beautiful. And he's trying to
Mhm.
replicate what he have seen from them. But sometimes when you trying to get what your parents or grandparents had, it doesn't transfer over how it is because of today's society. And obviously he didn't want to just kick it to the curb and, you know, go ahead and be single again because he wanted to make it work because he has kids with her. Obviously he wants to have that foundation where there's the kids and the mom and dad, but unfortunately, that these certain situations that you're gonna have to let go because she not only got an outside baby, she did it twice. And what was it, 3 times? Two,
Mhm.
3 times. And with the first one, this is really up to the guy, whether he can just forgive her and then have it moved on. But the second, third time, bro, the relationship is done. At that point, she doesn't respect you. And also I have like, you know, guys in my life be like, older guys in my life be like, well, if she does to you on the first time, have a baby outside and she was dealing with a man the first time, bro, you should just throw that relationship away. It's up to you if you want to stay. It's not highly recommended, but that relationship is done. She don't respect you. And she's most likely, if you take her back, she's gonna disrespect you again.
Yep.
So
If I could trick you once, I could trick you again.
yeah, it's just for guys, it's just I don't know. They think when they cry and get on their knees, start crying, they're going to change and that they mercy. You know, please show me mercy and all that kinds of nonsense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could go along with it. I mean, you never know. They might be telling the truth, but like something as severe as that, I mean, I don't personally me, I don't think there's no going back to that.
Mhm.
Once you cross me like that, it's done. Personally for me, and this is where, like I said, males and females really going to have to be honest with themselves and know that when somebody crosses your boundaries like that, and you set that in the relationship already, you're going to have to let go. I mean, it's kind of messed up if you guys have kids, but it's only so many times you're going to keep dealing with that and keep getting embarrassed. I don't know. There's only so much embarrassment and taking you back. Somebody's going to endure it. You're going to before they snap.
And now the question is, why did he keep forgetting her? Why did he keep forgiving her? And this is where, as men, our biggest weakness is the vanity of looks. we always cherish the woman's looks over who she really is. And now they will say like, "Oh, women don't do that." Women do the same thing, but us dudes, we hold it to a way higher standard than they do. Won't know a chick be straight up toxic, but if she looks good enough, we'll be willing to put up with it. And as dudes, we have to start holding each other accountable, which is what I mentioned earlier. Like we have to start holding each other accountable. Yes, she can look good, but the character has to come with it. Like we can't just like uplift these bad women and then expect the good women to listen to us when our actions are showing we support the bad chicks. So it's a really a community thing, because I can understand why some women would feel frustrated seeing that, because it's just like we say we want this type of chick, but then who do we thirst after? Who do we go after in the shadows or in the public, or who do we uplift? So we have to do a better job at really defining what we see as a good person and uplift those people versus uplifting the bad people, because we uplift the bad people because deep down we want to be like them, but in reality we know that that's not going to take us too far. A lot of us are not going to be able to imitate that, so we uplift the ones who are able to do it, because like I said, a lot of people deep down want to be like these people. So I say take it with a grain of salt. Don't look at it as just because they uplift these types of chicks, like, oh, like it's for good reasons. It's never for good reasons. That's one thing I can vouch for and say. If you see dudes uplifting them type of chick, it's never for a good reason. It's always something sexual. It's always something that they'd be ashamed to admit in front of their family or their friends. If they were put on a spotlight, if they were put a flashlight in their face and had to admit it, they would not want to admit that type of stuff, because it'll make them look bad. But today it's kind of like shame is the new fame. Like being just shameless, bro. Shameless activity is honored. But I mean, that's really the gist of what I had to say on most of this. But I guess the final quote I could say is, be true to who you are. At the end of the day, there's going to be somebody out there who does appreciate it. I like, whether you got to move to another city or move to another country, whatever you got to do, find those groups of people who appreciate you for who you are, because the moment you try to fall into this category, I'm telling you, you're just going to be miserable. And then you're going to end up probably turning out worse than the so-called bad person you tried to imitate. You're going to end up turning out worse because it doesn't come natural to you like it does to them. So I wanted to leave off that.
So, you guys have anything you want to say about those two clips or the opinions we said about them? Please let us know in the comment section down below. And I also want to mention that we appreciate the support we have on our channel. It's greatly appreciated. Also, you want to support us through our merch. We have a link for that in the description box down below. So once again, we appreciate you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell if you haven't already. If you guys have any recommendations or feedback, you hit us up in our social media or email down below. And we see you guys in the next video.
Peace.